the spring of 1976, European tall ships are racing across the Atlantic for Bermuda, the big race to Newport, and the sail into New York Harbor.
Bermuda, ett sägenomspunnet turistmål, ett vulkaniskt korallrev omgivet av ett varmt indigoblått hav. Här blommar azaleor och hibiskus vilda. Ett soligt paradis med poliser i shorts, men med en tilltagande politisk oro bakom den rosa fasaden.
Well, the basic aim of our race is to bring together young people from as many countries as possible in competition through the sea. And we have this idea that there are three arms, if you like to call it that, of education. The first part is the simple, or relatively simple business of reading and writing and figuring. The second is individual physical skills, like running and jumping and other individual sports. And both of these are very well looked after in the educational systems of almost all countries. But the third arm, which we think can still be improved, is the art of living together. And people who can live together and learn to live together in small ships are, in our opinion, being equipped for life in a very special way, which cannot easily be done in the normal educational system.
The crew of the British schooner Sir Winston Churchill.
E.J. Knight.
Yes, I've got my mail.
E.J. Knight.
Nauseating night. And this morning we had to get up at 5:30 and I didn't get to bed till after midnight last night. So the last thing I wanted to do at 5:30 was to roll out of bed and kick all my watch out of their bed and get them up on deck and persuade them that it was a lovely morning, which it wasn't because it was foggy. But once we got up here and we got up onto the yard and we were all standing up straight looking big and beefy and exceptionally hearty, it was fine. It was fantastic. And then coming through and seeing all the old square riggers, which I haven't seen before. A lot of sweat and hard work, heaving on ropes. So we all got blisters, but we do it.
Yeah.
And like one of the officers, if we're having trouble, will come along and say, do you want some help? And everybody shouts, no! Because we want to do it, we want to prove that we can do it. No!
This is what the challenge is all about, because we feel here's our chance to actually show that we're as feeble as everyone thinks we are. You know, we have all these boats that come around and just stare at us just because we are a girls' crew.
tall ships of many countries are training in the North Sea under captains who would like to win the races to the United States.
Air course 105.
Володя сказал, не надо.
Прекратить болтовню на реях. Пусть снизу слушают команды только.
Aboard Russia's Krusenstern, Captain Schneider commands the largest sailing vessel afloat.
Все команды подаются только снизу. А справа вытянутая рука говорит о том, что все готово.
Competition between the nationalities can be fierce, but the purpose of the race is to build international goodwill. This apparent contradiction is summed up in a sail training motto: international goodwill through friendly competition at sea. Now it is the competition that is being felt.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. This is the day we've been waiting for. And I, of course, would like to see us win the race, and I'm sure we will win. But let's do it safely. We'll give them a good show, and we'll give them a good go. And I'm looking forward to seeing us cross that finish line first. Let's go.
Please come in und deswegen bitte ich Sie einzustoßen, wenn ich sage, unsere Siegerhelden Fort bei 300 hoch.
The sailing ships offer one of the quickest and best ways of training sailors for almost any kind of sea duty. Captain von Stackelberg is training future officers for the German Navy. Captain Kelly is training cadets of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Captain Schneider is training navigators, engineers, and officers for the Bureau of Fisheries of the Soviet Union. Here in the Atlantic Ocean, 635 miles southeast of New York, the sailing vessels are beginning to move out to the start line of a tall ships race to Newport, Rhode Island. To begin the race, 14 tall ships will be converging on a narrow start line. Aboard Eagle, Captain Kelly's challenge will be to maneuver safely through the traffic jam of fast-charging ships. Eagle, like all tall ships, is hard to maneuver and slow to turn.
Well, we can do attack time-wise in about, and we have done it in under 10 minutes, a little under 10 minutes. And the distance you lose is not too great. It's probably on the order of 1,000 yards.
Sir, my rudder's left full, sir.
I'm not an expert on starting lines, but when you have 15 ships of this size that are a little bit unwieldy to handle under power.
The Russian ship.
Aboard Germany's Gorsch Fock, Captain von Stackelberg is training a new crew of Navy men in their 20s. How fast they can hoist sail will determine how fast he can maneuver the Gorsch Fock in the tall ship races.
Ja, da kommt er schon, jawohl! Gut, okay! Und raus damit!
So sind wir sagen, gut mitgezogen. So viel, jawohl! So viel nur, kommt! Hol auf das rein! Und jetzt die Schüsse hoch!
A new crew. The first day aloft in the rigging, standing on a thin line, trying to solve puzzles, trying to absorb a barrage of commands. The first sail can be a shocking experience. A thought-provoking one as well for a captain contemplating a race against a fleet of tall ships sailed by more than 3,000 spirited crewmen. Waters off Bermuda, one of the great sailing spectacles of all time is building up as tall ships arrive from all over the world. This is Murcia from Romania, Sagres from Portugal, Tovarish, also from Russia, Danmark from Denmark, Libertad from Argentina, Esmeralda from Chile, Gloria from Colombia. The Christian Radic won the last transatlantic race from Norway. Gorsch Fock from Germany. The Polish ship Dar Pomorza is arriving off Bermuda under the command this year of Captain Kazimir Jurkiewicz. He is feeling well enough to sail this last, greatest tall ships race. Gazella Primero, also from the United States. Juan Sebastian de Elcano from Spain. Amerigo Vespucci from Italy. June 20th, 1976. Aboard Eagle, Captain Kelly is maneuvering with 14 other tall ships minutes before the start of the race to the United States.
Well, what I want to do is to get right down in between the cruising share and the Christian Radic, and then we'll come around to the right. Yeah. We'll have the best.
On the floor. 74 starboard left.
Let's roll the upper. On the upper top.
I think we got enough room between the Christian Radic and Phoenix here to get in there. don't know what his intentions are. Yep. Engine back full. Engine back full. Easy on it to Galvin Royal. Easy on it to Galvin Royal. Under his right full. Come on. Stop. Slow on the lower. Slow on the lower. No.
Маятник качнется, сердце замирает. Что кому зачтется, кто же об этом знает? Что кому по нраву, кто кого в опалу, что кому по праву выпало, попало, что судьба нам, братцы, к ночи напророчит, станет улыбаться или захочет. Мы одни и плетим, мы одни уздаем, мы всегда успеем, мы не опоздаем. Настал час заката, маятник качнется, а без нас, ребята, драка не начнется, а без нас, ребята, драка не случится. Надо же нам когда-то с жизнью разлучиться. Что судьба нам, братцы, к ночи напророчит, станет улыбаться или не захочет. Мы поставим свечи, мы грустить не станем. Выпал чет или нечет, завтра же узнаем.
Этот день будет первым всегда и везде. Пробил час, долгожданный серебряный час. Мы ушли по весенней высокой воде, обещанием помнить и ждать за ручас. По горячим следам мореходов живых и экранных, что пробили нам курс через рифы, туманы и льды. Мы под парусом белым идем с океаном на равных, лишь в упряжке ветров, не терзая винтами воды. Впереди чудеса неземные, о земле, чтобы ждать веселей. Будем честно мы слать позывные, эту вечную дань кораблей. Говорят, будто парусу реквием спет, черный брик за пиратство в музей заточен. Бросил якорь в историю стройный корвет, многотрубный увольневший почет. Но весь род моряков, сколько жив до 7-го колена, будет помнить о тех, кто ходил на накале страстей, и текла за кормой до бела раскаленная пена. ищите во судьба непутевых своих сыновей. Впереди чудеса неземные, о земле, чтобы ждать веселей. Будем честно мы слать позывные, эту вечную дань кораблей. Материк безымянный не встретим вдали, островам не присвоим названий своих. Все открытые земли давно нарекли именами великих людей и святых. Расхватали открытием ложных иллюзий не строим, но стекает вода с якорей, как живая вода. Ничего, но не беда, мы в себе эти земли откроем. И на берег сойдем и останемся там навсегда. Не смыкайте же век рулевые, вдруг расщедрится серая мгла. На летучем голландцы впервые запалят ради нас факела.
Second collision of three ships is leaving the Christian Radic and Murcia only slightly damaged. But the Gazella Primero, an American vessel, is out of the race.
Det är fel babord först. Ska vi se.
Starten blir tät. En sådan mångfald seglande fartyg lär inte ha varit samlad tidigare under detta sekel.
Nej, fel. Stå på baborden. 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 Babordikt.
5 minuter kvar till start.
Midskepps. Klart och skifta. Skifta ror. Midskepps.
Kommer de här?
Hej!
Nu kommer de.
Babordikt! Stibordikt! Stibordikt!
Ja, stibordikt. Stibordikt.
Måste vi lira? Klart att vända undan vind. Låt seglen gå över när de kommer över. Kom till kurs 015. Har sett stortoppen. Har sett stortoppen. Det var inte det.
Klar i skotet.
Vad ligger han?
Ryska barken Krusenstern avtecknar sig mot horisonten. Hon är först i raden av råseglare som vi seglar om. Under boksprötet på Gloria från Colombia seglar ryska Tovaric och Mircea från Rumänien. I fjärran skymtar Danmark. Tovaric vann första och andra etappen i tävlingen och seglar nu för en totalseger i klassen. Fullriggaren Christian Radek, vars 1300 kvadratmeter segel står fint i undanvinden.
Von Stackelberg's Gorsch Fock is in the lead.
It was very exciting for a while. As a matter of fact, I think they probably provided quite enough excitement for everybody that was here. Once the collision happened, everything bottled up right alongside the Eskimo. We were backing full for a minute or so, and I presume that was all that saved us.
We were putting sail up and taking them in and putting them up and taking them in, and he just maneuvered that ship right in perfect slot, just about a perfect start.
I think we're doing all right. We seem to be overtaking Mircea very, very slowly. On our port side, we have Krusenstern.
Что он хочет, я так и не понимаю. Ложиться на прежний курс.
Did you do anything special to avoid a collision?
Did you have to do anything?
Yes, it was a case, it was a possibility that we stand to put from this group which collision each other.
I knew how fast my boys are in their training and how fast they could set the sails, so I could be in the direction of my first course with all sails set up, which was about 2 minutes before the starting signal came, so I was in good speed when I crossed the starting line.
Gulf Stream ahead and a weather change coming, the captains have some decisions to make about the best strategy for winning the race. Captain Yurkevich foresees a problem with the direct course northwest toward Newport, and he charts a new direction for the Dar Pomorza. The Dar Pomorza is now headed due west, off course, but toward the Gulf Stream, and currents that could speed the Dar Pomorza toward Newport. Captain von Stackelberg is also deciding on another course. He is turning the Gorsch Fock due north in a gamble to contact stronger winds before the rest of the fleet. Eagle and the rest of the fleet continue on course northwest toward Newport. By late afternoon, Eagle is opening a lead on Krusenstern. During the night, Krusenstern crept ahead of Eagle. Von Stackelberg has swung miles off course, trying to avoid one of the worst developments that can overtake a sailing vessel.
You can pull this one over there without bells on.
Mr. Satima, why don't you have them loose that halyard a little bit and see what happens with the edge of the sail there. See the halyard is holding the
We have tried all the ancient superstitions to get wind. Scratching masts, whistling, hoping to generate some wind.
Racing ships have been dead in the water for 3 days and nights. There seems to be little chance that crewmen will be left behind by a sudden wind if they want to do some roaming and looking.
Drivers are coming forward, introduce yourselves to them. Keep in mind here, don't have to.
I'm Captain Kelly. I'd like to welcome all of you gentlemen from Krusenstern to the Eagle. Hope you enjoy your visit.
American cadets are visiting the Russians aboard Krusenstern.
A movie and have many drinks for $12. But not enough to buy jeans. Not enough.
A Coast Guard anchor.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. You wear this side. This side is on your starboard side. I'm for you.
Of our crew.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're also now a member of my crew.
Thank you very much.
It is special place, special for your master. Be careful, between this water there is a plate. Be careful.
Thank you very much.
And now, go on your ship.
Thank you very much. All right. Newport. See you in Newport. Drink in Newport. Thank you very much for the tour. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck in the race.
Thank you very much.
See you in New York.
I was surprised. They're all very homesick. They're really excited about getting to America, but they all seem to be very homesick. They're all ready to go home. They have been out since April, and they miss home just like we know we would if it was the other way around.
Wind at last. The Gorst Fock is the first to contact it. Captain von Stackelberg is winning his gamble. the tall ship stand, Eagle and Krusenstern still side by side. International goodwill through friendly competition at sea. Unlikely as that objective may have seemed at the start, Russians and Americans seem to be achieving it now at sea.
Well, we probably achieved the objective even though the race terminated in about 35 north instead of in Newport.
Positions recorded when the race was called place Captain Torschen's Christian Radic third, Captain Yurkevich's Darth Morza second, and Captain Hans von Stackelberg's Gorschbahn first.
Мы говорим не штормы, а шторма. Слова выходят коротко и смачны. Ветра, не ветры сводят нас с ума. Из палуб выкорчевывая мачты. Мы на приметы наложили вето. Мы чтим чутье компасов и носов. Упругие тугие мышцы ветра натягивают кожу парусов. На чаше звездных подлинных весов седой Нептун судьбу решает нашу. И стая сов, голодных гончих псов, надсадного гонит нас на чашу. Мы призрак фибуйсьерского корвета, качаемся в созвездии весов, и словно застрелись струи ветра, и вспарывают кожу парусов. По курсу тень другого корабля он шел и в штормы хода не снижая. Глядите, вон болтается петля, на рей по повешенным скучая. С ним провиденье поступило круто, лишь вечный штиль прерван ход часов. Попутный ветер словно без попутал, он не находит наших парусов. Нам кажется, мы слышим чей-то зов, таинственные четкие сигналы. Не жажда славы, гонок и призов бросает нас на гребни, на скалы. Изведать то, чего не ведал сразу, глазами, ртом и кожей пить простор. Кто в океане видит только воду, тот на земле не замечает гор. Пой ураганом злые песни в уши, под череп проникай и в мысль лезь. Лей звездный дождь, вселяя в наши души землей и морем вечную болезнь. Землей и морем вечную болезнь. Землей и морем вечную болезнь. Ну вот исчезла дрожь в руках. Наверх, наверх. Ну вот сорвался в пропасть страх. Навек, навек. Для остановки нет причин. Иду, скользя. И в мире нет таких вершин, что взять нельзя. Среди нехоженных путей один пусть мой. Среди невзятых рубежей один за мной. Кто не доплыл и в волны лег, тем Бог судья. Среди непройденных дорог одна моя. мой океан со всех сторон штормит, штормит. Он тайну чьих-нибудь имен на дне хранит. А я гляжу в свою мечту поверх голов и свято верю в чистоту глубин и слов. И пусть пройдет немалый срок, мне не забыть, что здесь сомнений я смог в себе убить. Я слышал, пела мне вода, удач всегда. А день, какой был день тогда? Ах да, среда.
Benedici nella cadente notte il riposo del popolo. Benedici noi che per esso vegliamo in armi sul mare. Benedici.
Per l'Italia!
The Italian tall ship, the Amerigo Vespucci.
The final preparations for Operation Sail are being made today. 50 warships from 30 countries are gathering outside New York Harbor, where they'll anchor on Sunday. 225 sailing craft, including the classic tall ships, are heading down the coast for New York. They'll all converge in the Hudson River on Sunday, along with countless spectators ashore and at sea. The result, some people fear, might be chaos. Correspondent John Martin reports.
It was an embarrassment when these two tall ships collided off Bermuda 10 days ago, even before they started the bicentennial run to New York. It had happened to some of the world's best sailors. By the time the country's biggest marine spectacle is over, there could be hundreds of small craft collisions and possibly some drownings. The Coast Guard held this dawn briefing today to make sure its key patrol units know where to go and what to do.
Neither do I want violations of the rules ignored. The rules have been made for the safety of all concerned, and I expect the rules, insofar as possible, to be fully enforced and fairly.
Der går, styr på anker.
From the North Sea to the coasts of Spain, tall ships that will compete in races on the way to Operation Sail 76 are doing some hard training under captains who like to win.
And all touches! Prime! Fire away!
the second one, the captain of the Christian Radish. He beat the Gorch-Fock in 1964, and this ship is fast, and he is a very, very experienced man. Now, I was lucky enough to know that.
Captain Torsion is offering a present from all the captains to Kazimir Yurkevich, who after New York will be sailing home for the last time.
And we've called the painting Sailing Home.
In Class B, Division 1, first on corrected time, a challenge trophy, the Florence Trophy. Vladan.
I just pulled that top 10 too. I know which one's full, so I pulled one of them. Okay, what do you want to do here? Do you going to do rap over something going into some gold or what?
I Newport finns också entusiasterna som tror på seglande handelsfartyg.
It's an interesting thing. I would like to think that there was a commercial future for sailing vessels, but I'm not a scientist and I cannot honestly say that I believe there will be. But if it proved that way, and a certain number of people have done a lot of research, one would be very pleased, because in these days of shortage of oil and things like that, God gives us the wind, and if we can make use of it, I would be delighted. But it is no part of our organization to try to pretend that sailing still has a commercial future.
Here's the view from New York Harbor as America celebrates the bicentennial from sea to shining sea. Behind me, the aircraft carrier, the Forrestal. It's huge, more than 1,000 feet in length. It looks more like a floating dock from where we are than a seagoing vessel. Surrounding the Forrestal, like a school of pilot fish, are a number of Coast Guard patrol boats trying to keep this area clear. And as you can see, they have their work cut out for them because pleasure boats are filling the harbor. The volume of traffic has turned the seas choppy as each of these boats jockeys for a front row berth to watch the parade of tall ships. Up the Hudson, as far as I can see, are the gray ships, warships from 22 countries lying at anchor against the murky, hazy skyline of New York City. Everyone here is waiting to watch the silent, graceful procession of tall ships. Bettina Gregory aboard the Four Bells in New York Harbor.
The salute of the big guns along the Hudson has not begun yet, but one of the first big government guns has arrived. The Vice President, Nelson Rockefeller, and Mrs. Rockefeller have landed by helicopter on the deck of the USS Forrestal. They'll go up to the Wainwright from there for the review this afternoon. They're being greeted now by the commander of the Atlantic Fleet and being shown around the Forrestal before they'll be leaving there. What Vice President Rockefeller is going to do is to look at the very beginning of Operation Sail and the naval review from the Forrestal before he goes to the Wainwright. President Ford then will be on the Forrestal later for his part of the review. The Navy has told us that never in their history have they had exactly the kind of problems that they're having with today's events. They've never had to deal with so many important people and so many important ships from so many countries all on one day. And all navies are very conscious of protocol, including the U.S. Navy, and they want to be sure that they give the right number of guns, 21 for the President, 19 for the Vice President, differing numbers for the different ships as they go by. You get a pretty good view of the harbor now, below the bridge. It's a relatively clear day in New York. The ship in the foreground is the U.S. barkentine Eagle, actually a German ship bought by the United States as part of reparations after World War II. This is the view as the very first of the ships begin to come in for the procession, which will take a good deal of the afternoon. Yesterday, somebody said there were, maybe 5,000 private vessels out to look at the visiting ships. Today, the Coast Guard is trying to keep them in some kind of order. This is the view going right down to the Eagle as she makes her way northward. Some men up on the... I'm going to make all kinds of mistakes in sailing ship terminology today. They're up on something up there.
Somebody on the sheet there. It is really my hope that we will in fact be around in the tricentennial year and that we will still be functioning and doing as well as we've done in this past 100 years and past 200 years. I think that's important, that we get ourselves together, that we set our sights and our course, and we get ourselves in a situation where we in fact can participate as a world leader during the next 100 years. And I would like to participate in preparing people to face the challenges in the world during this next 100 years. Anchors away, sir.
Anchors away. Engine ahead, 1/3. Engine ahead, 1/3, sir. Engine room in, stay 1/3, sir. Left 5 degrees, rudder.
Operation Sail 76, celebrating the bicentennial of the United States. The tall ships have sailed to America from 15 countries around the world. Preparations for Operation Sail began more than a year ago in many nations.
New York Harbor, the day of days was here. The scene was set, the Navy was in place. I would view it all from the mammoth aircraft carrier Forrestal, a reviewing stand for VIPs and special guests of OpSail. Right now, this floating city was moored and aimed in the wrong direction. No problem, though. With 5 tugs, they just pushed the ship around in the right direction and held it there till the tide turned. The United States Secretary of the Navy at that time, William Mittendorf, was accustomed to moving mountains. VIPs started arriving at 10 a.m. Parade starts at 11. Mittendorf greets and escorts that year's Secretary of the Treasury, William E. Simon. Now, wouldn't you know that the tallest city in the country would have the shortest mayor? Somewhere in there is Mayor Bean. While my camera is sidetracked and glued to celebrities, I have 6 other photographers spread around the harbor for the main event. And now the parade can begin. Host ship, Coast Guard Academy's Eagle, was leading the parade right astern of these fireboats. Further upriver, Eagle could set all sails. A sister ship, Denmark, served out World War II under U.S. Coast Guard command before returning to Denmark, so she was second in line of parade. And this one here is Tavarish from Russia, a bark. A bark is one with no squaresails on the mizzenmast, like Sagres from Portugal, another bark. Full-rigged ships have squaresails on all 3 masts, like Dar Pomorza from Poland. Likewise, full-rigger Libertad from Argentina. At 338 feet, she's the largest of the 3 masters. Gloria, a bark from Colombia, South America, the newest, built in 1968. 4-masted barkentine Esmeralda from Chile, 370 feet. But things are happening back aboard Forrestal. More luminaries are arriving. Chairman of OpSail, Bus Mossbacher on the right there, greeting Kissinger. Nancy Kissinger was not feeling too well today, not helped at all by the fact that she could not see anything for all the photographers standing in her way. The secretary could see all right. He stood up most of the time. The Secret Service wished he would keep a lower profile. And the band played on as Tavarish passes in review. It's 12 o'clock by now, the sun is straight overhead, and it's hot on this 4th of July. People are looking for ways to keep cool. The Brooklyn shoreline was solid humanity. Estimates of people around the shores and on the water, 6 million. Uh-oh, make that 5 short of 6 million. Oscar is gaining on it, though. Well, if boats like these can get here, certainly Oscar should be here, too. High on enthusiasm, but low on air. High on air, but low on altitude. These next jokers just plain high. Meanwhile, on top of the World Trade Center is photographer number 5. Navy ships from 23 countries are lined up nicely as Nippon Maru passes. At the Manhattan Battery, a different wind direction allowed ships to set sail like Denmark and Juan Sebastian. 16,000 seats at $25 per. They could have used 16,000 more. Back on Forrestal again. This must be another big one arriving. Lots of hustle and bustle of the press and Secret Service. Well, now Happy Rockefeller was happy today. Behind the Kissingers sat the Rainiers and family. Prince Rainier and Princess Grace were here on another unofficial visit, sort of a family outing with the children. At that time, Prince Albert was 17, Princess Stephanie was 12, and Princess Caroline 19. Well, whether you're a king, a queen, president, princess, or whatever, it's hot dogs all around, 'cause this is America on the 4th of July. Barbara Walters there talking to Rockefeller. An officer steps up to Rockefeller and tells him it is time to go. The vice president's duty at this point was to transfer over to the cruiser Wainwright and officially review the tall ships parade from the George Washington Bridge area back to the Forrestal. So there goes the vice president's helicopter, off at approximately 12:20, where he's let off uptown aboard the guided missile cruiser USS Wainwright. About an hour later, the last of the largest square riggers were passing by Forrestal, cruising stern being sort of a grand finale. And there we have the largest and one of the smallest Gazella of the square riggers in the parade. But grand finale honors for classic good looks, most people agreed, went to Amerigo Vespucci from Italy, a full-rigged ship with an early 19th century Navy frigate design built in 1931. There's that four-masted sloop. The time was approaching when President Ford was scheduled to arrive. He was coming from Philadelphia to honor the day by ringing a bell and giving a speech, one of 5 speeches for him that day. First, the White House press arrived. This could be him. But no, more White House press. Indeed, a third copter came in loaded with White House press. Now here he comes, but not before he was preceded by 2 other copters, one of which was parked there, used as an alternate, a decoy, and a diversion. He's with his oldest daughter, Susan. Mrs. Ford arrived 2 hours earlier. The square riggers are all further upriver. Passing in review now are the schooners and smaller training boats. Lead boat of that group out there is the replica yacht America. At precisely 2 o'clock, the President will ring a bell on deck here, which will signal the ringing of bells all across the nation. He makes sure there's a clapper in there. Then he gave a 10-minute speech.
No tribute can be more spectacular than the Grand International Armada, which fills this great harbor today. A magnificent array of tall ships and naval vessels, the proud emissaries of 30 other nations, form an escort of special grace and beauty as the United States of America enters its third century.
Captain Kjell Torsen of the Norwegian tall ship Christian Radich. Captain Hans von Stackelberg of the German tall ship Gorsch Fock. Captain Ivan Schneider of the Russian tall ship Krusenstern. Captain Patrick Collis of the British ship Sir Winston Churchill. Captain Franco Sargioni of the Italian ship Amerigo Vespucci. Captain Yurkevich of the Polish ship Dar Pomorze. In the summer before the American bicentennial,
by 2:35, he and Mrs. Ford were off on an aerial review upriver of the tall ships, plus another speech aboard USS Nashville, then back to Washington at 3:45. Well, it looks like Oscar Backwash missed the whole thing. Then along comes the Flying Dutchman yelling, "Hoi dar Lofa, it's all over." But not quite over. There were still more schooners and sloops. Then came the most ambitious yacht club cruise in the world. 40 small German cruising boats, this is 4 of them, were shipped over from Hamburg so that they could take part in our bicentennial celebration. Late afternoon, the ships put in the docks all around town for 2 days. That night, the grandest display of fireworks ever staged.
Harry, those tall ships are still something that remains to be seen from down here at the lower end of Manhattan, but Lord knows the people have been here long enough waiting to see it. Several thousand people gathered here at dawn, but it has been something of a surprise in two ways. First of all, the crowds are not as big as everyone expected. Those projections of 5 to 10 million people in Manhattan to watch this tremendous parade today must have scared an awful lot of folks off. And secondly, at least at this stage of the day, it is an orderly crowd. One would hardly know from looking at these well-mannered people who have been extremely polite to one another that this is Lower Manhattan.
Куда пропускает, а пропускает?
Там вот всегда расположен наш торг, наш торговый.
It was love at first sight. Between millions of Americans for whom the sight and spirit the tall ships brought became part of a new and happier feeling about themselves and their country. And the men of the tall ships, whose purpose of goodwill was being amplified by a city and a nation.
Forever.